Types of reading, detailed explanation with examples. 1. Extensive reading. Extensive reading involves reading large amounts of material, usually for pleasure or general understanding. It is not focused on intensive analysis of each word or detail but rather on grasping the overall content. This type of reading helps in improving language proficiency, vocabulary, and fluency by exposing readers to different writing styles, contexts, and ideas. Purpose: extensive reading is used to build familiarity with language structures, encourage autonomous learning, and develop a love for reading. It helps in grasping the main themes and ideas while skimming over minor details. Examples: reading novels, biographies, or travel stories to enjoy the narrative. Exploring newspaper articles to get a broad understanding of current events. Browsing through non-fiction books for general knowledge. Scenario: a student reads The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho to understand its themes of personal growth and destiny without focusing on every small detail. 2. Intensive reading. Intensive reading focuses on a smaller portion of text for a deeper and more thorough understanding. It emphasizes analyzing grammar, sentence structures, vocabulary, and meaning. This type of reading is typically used for academic purposes or detailed comprehension. Purpose: intensive reading is aimed at improving linguistic and analytical skills. It helps readers understand the intricacies of language, interpret complex texts, and retain detailed information. Examples: reading a scholarly article to comprehend its arguments and conclusions. Studying an academic textbook to understand concepts deeply. Closely examining poetry to interpret literary devices and themes. Scenario: a professor assigns a class to read and analyze Shakespeare's sonnets, focusing on their use of metaphor and rhythm to express emotions and themes. 3. Skimming. Skimming is a quick reading technique used to get the general idea or essence of the content without going into details. It is particularly useful when time is limited and the reader needs to identify relevant sections of text. Purpose: the purpose of skimming is to identify the main idea of a text, locate key points, and decide whether further reading is necessary. Examples: skimming a report to find the executive summary. Quickly reading a book's table of contents to decide its relevance. Browsing through a research paper to determine its applicability to a project. Scenario: a manager schemes through a 50-page financial report to find the key figures and summary of profits. 4. Scanning. Scanning involves quickly searching through text to locate specific information, such as names, dates, or keywords. Unlike skimming, scanning is more focused and requires attention to detail to find precise answers. Purpose: the goal of scanning is to retrieve specific information quickly and efficiently without reading the entire text. Examples: searching for a name in a guest list. Finding a term in a glossary or index. Looking for the answer to a specific question in a textbook. Scenario: a history student scans their textbook to find the exact year of the signing of the Treaty of Versailles. 5. Critical reading. Critical reading involves a deep and evaluative approach to the text, aiming to understand its purpose, identify underlying biases, and assess the validity of its arguments. It is an active process that requires questioning, analyzing, and reflecting on the content. Purpose: the purpose of critical reading is to evaluate the credibility and relevance of the text, discern the writer's intent, and form an independent opinion about the content. Examples: analyzing an editorial to evaluate the writer's argument and potential biases. Reviewing a research paper to assess its methodology and conclusions. Examining a political speech to understand its underlying motives and persuasive techniques. Scenario: a journalist critically reads a government report to identify gaps in its data and potential areas of bias, preparing questions for a follow-up interview.